Why is Uranus a Uranus? And why do I think that if you have a dysregulated nervous system, you shouldn't stay or really even visit your Uranus lines? Well, I'm going to give you a firsthand experience and tell you exactly why. Let's hop into it. Hi, my name is Jessica, and if you haven't watched, I've created a whole series on astrocartography and the different lines and how they have been affecting me. And as I promised in my series before, that I am going to be telling you my experiences as I go through and travel the US. I recently booked a trip to New York, which is right along or next to my Uranus MC major line. And it was very interesting because it was very similar to an experience that I had 15 plus years ago physically that I didn't understand until I looked at the map. Now, this place that I'm going to show you right now is where I first had these bodily experiences. Every time that the sun would go down, I would feel like I was on a boat. Even though this place is an island and it is in the middle of the ocean, I thought, oh, maybe I'm just sensitive to the water and the waves and wasn't really sure what was going on. I was at this location for about 2 weeks, and every single night I felt motion sickness and just not settled at all. That place is none other than the most beautiful island, sacred island of Honolulu. And I went there with my sister-in-law at the time. I had just graduated and she was about to have her first child. And so her parents lived out there, and it was kind of a girls' trip to celebrate my graduation and her just before she had the baby. So like I said, we were out there for a couple weeks, and every single night, right around dinner time, I would get the sense that I was literally on a boat. It was insane. And I didn't understand what was going on. Like I said, I thought, oh, maybe I'm just really sensitive because here we are out in the middle of the ocean and it could be the elevation. I wasn't really sure what it was. And recently, as I mentioned, I went to New York and I was there for a whole week. And here I was spending an amazing week with a friend, checking out the city, considering even it as a spot of relocation in New York City down there. So I found it really weird that literally every other day I was feeling amazing, going out, doing like 20,000 steps a day, riding the subway, doing all of these things, like living the life of a city dweller, right? But the next day I would be literally physically exhausted with headaches and dizziness once again. So I had to look into this, and I was like, maybe it's elevation sickness. I've heard that when you go above certain elevations, the oxygen gets lower. Maybe that's what it is. And I saw that the elevation was much lower. Anyhow, I had lived coastally in Southern California for 2 years and never once experienced that. So then I thought, oh, you know what? We're going to look up and compare the astrocartography. Now, at the time that I went to Hawaii, I didn't really know much about astrocartography. However, before this trip to New York, I did and was very curious what my lines look like there. And as you can see, we have this guy, which is this blue, is the Uranus major on my MC line. And then right down here, we have a minor line of Pluto squaring my ascendant. So those kind of connect and going to be the most dramatic. We also have a Chiron IC line as well too. However, the most felt energy would be that Uranus MC line. Now, when I hop on to looking at the lines in Honolulu, what do I see? This very first one right over here. Hello, this is my Uranus major AC line. And then if I go a little bit further over, I have a minor Uranus squaring my MC line. And I thought, boy, oh boy, this is what I love about astrology, is it talks about correlation, not causation, right? And so the study of these patterns here, these experiences, for me to have the exact same physical experiences 15 years apart, there's something here. So I've been back from New York for a little over a week, and I am still dealing with what is vertigo. I don't know if it's an inner ear thing. I've been taking medication for it. I've been doing Epley maneuvers. I've been doing all of these things, but I also realized that I have a dysfunctional nervous system. And a lot of it has to do with a lot of the stress and dealing with CPTSD and all of these things. So traveling kind of throws me out of whack. So routines are really important for me. But I also look at when I am reading other people's charts when they're considering astrocartography. I look at their relocation charts, but I'm also starting to understand that the transits of these major planets in certain houses will affect your experience on those lines as well too. So it's not just your relocation chart, your natal chart, and your astrocartography, it's the actual transits that are going on. And let me show you what I'm talking about. This is my birth chart, and this is where Uranus is currently transiting, my 6th house of health in Taurus, which Taurus rules the throat, but it can also be associated with the drainage of your lymphatic systems as well too. And Uranus actually controls and is associated with the nervous system as well too. So there it is. I mean, this is why I'm experiencing this physical experience of that. So that being said, I've come to find out that if you have a compromised nervous system, if you are really prone to anxiety, if you tend to be restless and you have maybe a sensitive physical body, but you also have a sensitive etheric body, like if you are really sensitive to energy, I'm an IHSP, so a highly sensitive person, and other people's energy as well as the energy of spaces highly affect me and my moods, as well as the transits of the planets in the sky. If you are like me, I would recommend not staying long-term or even long visits on Uranus lines. I would love to hear your experience if you've also experienced things like this on your Uranus line. So please let me know, leave me a comment, stitch this video. I'm just learning more and diving more every single day into the study of astrology, which I think, you know, every great student and soon to be teacher could possibly do in their life. Like there's so much information that you can continue to learn. And as we continue to study and put those correlations together, we get better at what we do so we can help other people. So that being said, if you're an astrologer or if you are just somebody who loves astrology and energy, and you've been studying astrocartography, please let me know because I would love to hear your experience. Thanks.